Those of you that know me, she gave me 5 minutes. It normally takes me that long to say hello. So, as Jack Lambert said when he was standing on the steps at the Hall of Fame in Canton, let's get this thing done. So, you know, we've had a breakfast today for Jim. We had a party last night. We're having a party tonight. When he came home to Columbiana, we had a party for him there. So I really don't know what to say about Jim that he hasn't already said himself. In the words of Abraham Lincoln, I did the best I could, I did the best I knew how. And I mean to keep on doing it that way right up until the very end. If the end proves me out all right, what's said against me will not matter. If the end proves me out all wrong, 10 angels swearing I was right won't make any difference. We're here today because Jim has been proven out right, and I've known him for 45 years. My first memory of Jim was when his mother took us up to the swimming pool in Columbiana, and we were swimming there one day, and we weren't in the pool for, Jim was probably about 7 years old. We weren't in the pool for maybe 5 minutes, and Jim comes out of the pool and he's crying, and he goes up to his mother and says, you know, that the lifeguard threw him out of the pool. And so Mrs. Dailey went right down to the pool lifeguard and said, you know, why'd you throw my son out of the pool? And he said, well, he was peeing in the pool. And Mrs. Dailey said, give me a break, all kids pee in the pool. And the lifeguard looked at her and she said, not from the high dive, they don't. So I go way back with Jim, and I've always remembered the key thing about him was he had a great family. The Daileys were always there for everybody, not just their family, but everybody in town. It was like a gathering place for people to go, and Jim was, of course, the leader of that. They said that Rome wasn't built in a day, and I often said it was because Jim wasn't in charge of the construction. We were playing baseball one day. It was just a pickup game in the park, and these other guys were hitting home runs over the fence. And I looked at Jim and I said, Jim, we can't hit home runs over the fence. We're just going to have to nickel and dime them to death. And Jim always remembered that phrase. For some reason, he liked that, and he's nickeled his dime and dimed his way to the top. And he's been humbled, and so have I. I remember when we were youngsters, I was a sports editor of a newspaper, and the job fell through, and I forget what Jim was doing, and we tarred the roof in blazing heat of a theater in Columbiana for $3 an hour. So we were humbled. With Jim, it's like joy, J-O-Y, or jum, J-O-M, and that's Jesus, ourselves, me, or Jesus, ourselves, you. Jim was one that never took advice. If I told him what to do, he wouldn't listen. If his mom and dad told him what to do, he wouldn't listen. He would always go and search for the answer he wanted to hear, and he rolled from there. This is the second Hall of Fame that I have been honored to introduce Jim for, and it's just as big of an honor for me to present him as it is for him to go in. And he may not be the greatest guy whose name's on that plaque out there, but he sure is the proudest. And I remember in closing that the last few years, last 3 or 4 years, Jim would call and say, I missed out on the Hall of Fame. I missed out on the Hall of Fame. Well, I'm here to tell you, Jim, you didn't miss out on the Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame missed out on you. Thank you.